third year, 9th event.
Yes, so it's fantastic. So Stephen is here today with some very, very special guests who he will introduce and carry on over the evening. But welcome to all of you and
we don't really know too much about it. We don't really know who it was for, and actually the painting itself has offered up much conversation and debate. So an allegory of prudence perhaps, and we're looking at these three male figures in the three stages of life. So the older male figure, the middle age, and then of course the younger. And then just below them we have the animals attuned to them here, so a wolf, a lion and a dog. So like some of our paintings in the collection, perhaps one of those that poses more questions than it does answers. But on that note, I will hand over to Stephen. So thank you very much for being here.
An Allegory of Prudence by Titian. Did you know if you shake your head vigorously from side to side, you will become a lion? If you are a wolf, and if you do so again in the opposite direction, you will become a dog. This is elderly to young, the inevitable, inescapable price of life. The cigarette wolf, the headache lion, the downward dog. This is Old Bill, Dab Dab, and Jonathan Littlefoot. Three sides of the same coin, bacterial and bearded, shaking their heads in disappointment. They are disappointed in your planning, your forward thinking, your substandard workflow, your endless iceberg anxiety. They are terrified of your hospital's emergency rooms. They are three manimals, impossible miniaturisms in the mighty mouth of time. They are the smallest something in the something sometimes of subtle temporal variance. They are your future, the babble of being born ancient and growing backwards, the light to your right, the one long story told in three short faces. They bid you to read the inscription and weep. From the impressions of the past, do we spoil the future? They tell us cautiousness is its own reward, like exercise or a Kinder egg. They tell us the view will never get old. No matter how many times we sit in the dark and plan, no matter how many times we top up our ISA, the dog is coming, mud on its faces, dribble down its chins, wee-wee streaking down our legs like a see-through milkshake. For without that mud dog, what purpose would be in this day, and tomorrow, and everyone until the last? Pointless, like a poem, like truly knowing when in the middle you once were young and you will soon be old. I'll tell you who is prudent. Me. I am as sagacious as a sausage. I live inside the eye of your daily life, a tiny face that hides a dream of reason. I am a tricephalic polycephaly, and I say to you all, save your beans, you will need them. Thank you. Two Salome, friends. Two Salome. Follow Fiona in a fabulous dress.
We got in a few people out of the start as well.
In the guise of her namesake, or is it perhaps just a more generic model that the artist may have used? So again, more questions than perhaps answers. On that note, I'll hand it back over to Stephen. So
Harper Stringer, everybody. Thank you, Joe.
Judith Salome by Sebastiano del Piombo. My chorus, a band of syphilitic Frenchmen who tell you what they know and take offense if you agree, but no style. That Judith looks telegenic, contemplative drawl to the gallery. Not Salome. Let me tell you, Barbara, inability to recognize the Lady of Seven Veils means lust can no longer be imagined in public. Play a game with rhetoric, artifice, dress. You're one of the friends of Salome. The rest are proudly friends of Judith. Too proud. Too willing to make history real lose its colour. I'll say a prayer for Judith. Maybe then she'll have something to offer other than a platitude or some cheap moral about being a bystander to evil. Yeah, we're just like you, Judith, we get it, darling, but sometimes Salome is not even evil. She's just a symbol, coincidentally painted in the same colour as this or that. It's like when Abnett stabs Polonius, or when that house squashes the Wicked Witch. You don't stand up and call for the actor's arrest. There's a string of accounts my afflicted Frenchmen have brought to me. She, incarnation of feminine lust, not a woman at all, but a brute, insensible force, a weird and superhuman figure, always lust, never not lust. She instigates the death of John to win the affection of a young sophist who was indifferent to the charms of love, rumoured to be St. Antipas of Pergamum. She is the first lap dancer, inscrutable. The veil always remains. You won't see behind it, even if Judith makes out that she knows what it is. And there's a contemporary account. Dear Salome, I like it very much, but I would have much preferred your own head. The veils even remain with your nudity. Maybe when I can see inside you, I can see what it is. In its totality, the Salome narrative is the origin of castration. John, you watch as a powerful woman gives a lap dance, then she stamps you out of existence. No head. John, lost your life for the dance, almost every man. I'll cut the rhetoric. Thinking of some teenage boy who lost his head and now stays where he is. But like this painting, here and there at once, you can transport it if you wish. But Salome and John always remain where they are. Some boy stays headless. It's as I can't see him change, he never will. But he's in the room with us now. John.
We think he was a particular nobleman who was married to somebody whose family were very much at war, battling. So it could be, again, thinking about that part of it as well. But what's interesting is that when we look at what he's wearing in his hair, on his head, the helmet with the ostrich feathers, and also the sword that he's carrying, this is actually a rapier. This would have been used for a tournament as opposed to a battle. But it's quite an extraordinary portrait, and I think at first note you wouldn't actually realise that there was something wrong with his leg there. So on that note, I'm going to hand back over to you, Stephen. So thank you very much indeed.
Danica, Ignacio!
This is a knight, and his feather, and his sword, and his helmet. They say he's too kind with words, and that victory costs a tongue and a heart. He has this dream where sticks are legs and the body knows no bounds when it's accompanied by a sword. They say he's a circus in metal armor, like a chainmail trapeze artist that hasn't learned balance quite yet. There's a rumor from one foot to the other that knees lock under pressure, which makes circus tightrope much, much harder. He has this dream that he learned to hold his head under pressure, and that he might fight the look his eyes are making at the crowd he believes is an army, and the whistle of a man he believes is a soldier. He thinks well-behaved knights get a treat, and that a bed of grass is better than none. You don't bite the blade that you bleed from, even when you debate politeness policies. They picture him on a horse that can't stop running, and he smiles because he has this dream where Midas touches disease and he gets greedy with illness, possessive with fever. They say that an honest man dies the same as a liar, that when hands meet they should always speak a prayer. He has this dream he's a winner, but he's covered in dirt, and the starting horn is muffled with desire.
Thank you so much, Danica. Excellent. We're going to head straight over to the painting. Have a look, haven't you? What are we looking at here? What do we think? A skull, absolutely. So what might that be representing? Death, yeah. So thinking about this idea that actually your time on earth, what you do, will determine whether you go there or you go down here. And then other people have said, actually, the artist is showing off his skills as a painter, as an artist, this anamorphic technique where you have to stand here to actually see it in all of its 3D glory. So once this painting was sent back to France after the two men had departed, it was hung in a very specific part in John's house. So this would have been one of the first things that he would have noticed. And then keeping to this sense of faith and religion, when you look up just behind the green fabric, you can see Christ on the cross. So reminding people of how Christ died for people's sins. So on that note, thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure to introduce Dan Abnett.
The painting is called The Ambassadors. It is very famous. There are three things that everybody knows about it. The first is that it's very famous. The second thing is it's called The Ambassadors. The third thing is the skull. It is the double portrait of two very important men whose names I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but I wrote them down somewhere. They were very important men, and this is how they looked the year Elizabeth I was born. They were ambassadors. The painting may have been commissioned by Anne Boleyn as a gift. It was certainly commissioned to celebrate their importance and commemorate their power and influence. The French ambassador and the Catholic bishop. It immortalises them and their prestige, these two men whose names I can't quite bring to mind. Look at the richness of the clothing, the calculated confidence of their stances, men who are casually prepared to exert their power, men who expect to be recognised by everybody, men who presume their names will always be remembered. Powerful men, very important men, are also subtle and complicated. The painting wants to make that clear too. It does this through the symbolism of the still life layered between them. The terrestrial globe, representing the whole world, artfully adjusted to show us the family home of one of the men while centering on Rome. And the celestial globe, representing the heavens, but also cleverly signifying France. There are 4 timepieces, the very latest gadgets. A pillar dial, a quadrant, a polyhedral sundial, and a torquetum, all coded to indicate different times, all with different possible interpretations, and yet none of them work indoors, which is where the two very important men are. So perhaps the principal symbolism is that time itself, however it is measured, is nothing compared to the stature of these men whose fame and importance will outlast everything all the while this picture exists. These very important men whose names will come back to me in a moment. There is a lute which, like the celestial globe, may represent harmony, but one of its strings is broken, suggesting discord, as do the flutes, one of which appears to be missing. The lute sits beside a pair of compasses, the symbol of Saturn, a chaotic force, and nearby a book of arithmetic, open on its page for division. Then a Lutheran hymnal, revealing the nature of this division and discord, an interruption of religious harmony, a strife between scholars and clergy, a change in the Christian church, of which these very important men famously disapproved. But such earthly matters, even the cosmati mosaic on which they stand, symbolising coronation and the making of monarchs, and nothing beside the skull. The skull is what everyone looks for, a memento mori, famously anamorphic. Its distortion is best dispelled according to preference, either by looking at it by the use of a special optic tube, or by moving away from the painting and looking at it from the side. The skull is a symbol of humility, of course. These very important men acknowledging that they, even they, cannot escape death, for no one can. We are but men, these very important men are saying, and we accept that we are no more capable of eluding mortality than anyone else. For look, we have had its very image ingeniously placed in full view in our double portrait as a reminder. This double portrait that magnifies our importance and secures our immortality. It's right there, bold as brass, front and centre, though we're going to make you squint to see it. Unless the skull is more of a threat, a signifier of their power, a whispered menace, when your audience with these two very important men, or their double portrait, is over and you walk away, if you glance back one last time, death looks you in the face, a parting shot, a reminder of your mortality, not theirs, not these very important men whose names I was told earlier. Immortality is a funny thing. This painting has done what it was commissioned to do. It has made these two men very important forever. It has made the skull famous. But the painting has also made itself famous. More famous, in the end, than the two men in it. The painting is called The Ambassadors.
The priest in front of it, when they were doing the sacrament, the giving, the breaking of the bread, they would have done this in front of the Christ figure. So quite literally thinking about the idea of the body of Christ. So on that note, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Fiona. Dan Abnett, everybody. Yay!
A second one, you lucky people. As has been described to us, there is some question as to exactly which disciple is which and who the figures are meant to represent. And obviously it is unfinished. So I have written a witness statement, which I have called Witness Statement. The incident in question, yes, I saw it, I was passing by. What did I see? Mate, you keep asking that, I'm trying to remember, I'm doing my best, it's hard, it was very busy that day, lots of people around, some parts of it are a blur. I'd say there were 6 people, 7 maybe more, it's difficult to be precise, I only saw the briefing. It's not like they were standing around posing for a picture or anything. No, okay, I get that, this is serious, I'm taking it seriously, I'm trying to help you, mate, I can only tell you what I remember, so I'll say 7 people. When? Well, I reckon around 1500, maybe a little after. It was a nice day, blue sky, bright, the sun was in my eyes, there was a bit of a haze which didn't help. So these people, they were kind of gathered around this man, helping him. He looked a bit the worse for wear, to tell the truth, like he'd had enough. I just thought they were carrying him home so he could lie down and rest. To be fair, I hadn't long had my lunch either, so I might have been a bit drowsy myself. Did I what? Did I recognise any of them? Oh yeah, definitely. Well, maybe. I think so. Look, I don't want to get anybody into trouble, okay? Okay. There was definitely a guy with a beard. I think his name is Joseph something. If it's the man I'm thinking of, he comes from Arimathea. Oh, it was his garden, was it? Well, if you say so, I was just passing by. Then again, there's that other guy with a beard, similar build. What's his name now? Nicodemus? Do you know him? I'm just saying, the sun was in my eyes. It could have been him, Nicodemus, not this Joseph chap at all. I'm just not sure. I don't want to say for certain. There was a tall guy in an orange robe. I do remember that. I remember the orange, very vivid, really stood out. I'm pretty sure I've seen him around. His name is John. What do you mean that's not very helpful? Yes, mate, I realise there are lots of people called John. John what? Well, I don't know him personally. I think I heard he was from Galilee, maybe? Or was it Patmos? Or was he going to Patmos? I don't know, John something, John Evangelist, Presbyter, Apostle, something like that. What's that now? Oh, so those could all be different people. Well, you're right then. There are lots of Johns, aren't there? You can see my problem, mate, can't you? Orange robe, name of John, beyond that, I can't be definite. No, I'm just not comfortable making a positive identification even if you do show me pictures, sorry. There was a woman. She was kneeling when I saw her. Her name is Mary. Definitely Mary, I'm sure about that. Come again? Oh, there are 3 Marys, are there? That's another common name then. Everyone's called John or Mary these days. this particular Mary, the one who was kneeling, I want to say Magdalene, maybe Mary Magdalene? Hold on, read me those names again. Mary, mother of Jesus, Mary, mother of Jacob, Mary of Clopas, Mary of Bethany, Mary Salome. Right, well, in that case, I'm not sure which one it was I saw. It could have been any of them. You do realise that's more than 3 Marys, don't you? I'm just saying. There was another woman to the right, as I remember that. Maybe that was Mary Salome? And there was another person who might have been this Mary Clopas you mentioned, a stress mite. I didn't see clearly. It might have been that Nicodemus. No, I'm not being sarcastic, I'm trying to help. I'm just telling you what I remember. And another Mary, an additional Mary. No, I don't remember another Mary. You say she wears a beautiful blue cloak? Well, I don't recall that at all. I'd remember an expensive blue cloak. No, I don't remember her being there. It's a bit of a blank. As I told you, it was bright. The light was in my eyes. It's very vague. And the man they were carrying? No, sorry, I've no idea. As I told you earlier, he looked weary, like he'd had a hard day. A bit the worse for him. Dead? You telling me he was dead? Is that why you're asking me all these questions? No, I don't think so. He's not dead. Because I saw him yesterday. So I just sign at the bottom, do I?
The idea of the power, the corruption of love, what this can do to you. And talking about the magic girdle or the belt that belonged to Venus, which Juno borrowed in order to seduce Jupiter. So this is a warning here. So what might that mean? Again, we don't know. Like many of these paintings, I've realised that we're looking at this evening, there is no definitive answer of who the person might be, and actually the meaning of the Latin inscriptions that we see here. But it is an extraordinary portrait, and I'd very much like to know who this woman was. So thank you very much, and I'm going to hand over to Stephen for
Eleanor Wilders, everybody.
This observation is cruel. Here am I most honest, draped in silks and bile-laid sweat. Caught me not last night. My stomach is a chasm of riches curdling. This is no near lust-flushed skin. This is the rosing of a champion, the after-effects of a commitment to a Friday night. This walk of mine you observe is a victory lap. It is you who walk shamefully. I walk as proudly as my contracted spine and liver will allow. Your scowl implies embarrassment, but I think it is for me, perhaps. Perhaps of those who haven't done as I, dining with the gods, gambling with the hides of the skinned wolves. The fine ladies of the table believe that these pearls of mine are the making of my title, of my stature. The solid spit of the sea means nothing to a land dweller as myself. Seeing the knowing glance of those who have seen my all-powerful nature and that cannot speak of it under the sun is enough. My acts are a secret to the men, and to those brave enough to watch me skin the hides of the bear. Don't be fooled by my silent stare. Many think it as a shyness. In truth, it is a downward judgment, for my capabilities are endless, and my flirtatious manipulation manifests the gift of breed.
Okay, our final painting for this evening. So gather round those expressions that have been rendered by the artist. So on that note, I'm going to hand over to the fabulous, the marvellous SJ Fowler.
The Raising of Lazarus by Sebastiano del Piombo. A note for my friends who are today my audience. Should I die and a rock be rolled over my cave, please do not bring a man to resurrect me. The persuasive relifing of a sick duck draws crowds in colours of age and with streaks of light in grotesque expression. This this, at best, can be described as invasive. The idiots gather with their garlic to see our dead mate Lazarus live live. Who asked him? Who could know what peace behind the rock of the dark, the rock of the calm black sea, the rock that whispers, take care of the little things, and the big things take care of themselves. At best, if the man with the magic touch is to be believed, poor Lazarus has swapped heaven for the charms of Bethany, for a few extra earthly years, stinking of the grave, bothered by every dickhead in the village, for he is now not just alive, but famous. Like all great acts in history, this is both spooky and moving, graphic and revised, busy and wet, for that which was once gone is now confused, and faith is unnecessary, for doubt has seen what little it knows. This is the idea you forget at night and never write down. This is a wide variety of reactions to a miracle. This is a painting of all the deceased from then until now who remain so, stone cold, dead as a doorknob. Come forth, my living friends, into this ultimate hangover. Come forth, Teddy Ruxpin in his airship. Come forth, Joseph, Danica, Harper, Eleanor, Dan. Come forth, Fiona. Come forth to the first painting of the gallery. The triumph of a temporary delay, where we all hope we are not just asleep when a man comes to raise us from the dead. Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us this evening. Thank you so much to our amazing poets, to Stephen, of course, to Dan, to Emma, to Danica, and to Harper. All your responses are always just so incredible. We run these events pretty regularly. As I said, this is the third year, and they're always an absolutely joyous occasion. So thank you so much, and do please join us again for the next one that we do.
Round of